Hello everyone, this is Zooc, and today I'm going to be drawing a Mutalisk. Um, I did a bit of experimenting in this video, not by my own free will, but mostly because I ran out of paper. I ran out of my typical Bristol smooth paper that I use for drawing, so I had to use a different kind of paper. I had this standard drawing sketchbook laying around, um, your typical library drawing book. So I tried that one just to see like how it looks like compared to the paper I usually use, and I really didn't like it. These standard drawing pads that are not specialty have a very rough texture. So sure, they might be good for drawing like landscapes with trees and small houses and stuff, but for the kind of work that I do, well, not work, but more play, they're not very good because you can't really get very precise details on them. And even though the drawing looks good from a certain distance, I like it to look good up close. So the drawing in total this time took about 1 hour and 30 minutes, which is much shorter than standard time for my drawings. They're usually from 2.5 hours up, and the only reason it was so short is because I couldn't get in there to get tiny details drawn out the way I want them, because when I drew a line, it drew like freaking million things around it, just because the paper is so rough. So it bites a lot. It bites a whole lot of graphite. I think I've read is said that if your paper is too rough, you can grab like a smooth object and just rub it on the paper to smooth it out and flatten out the tooth. But I didn't feel like doing that. I usually when I buy something or work with something, I don't want to mess with it. I want it to be proper from the start, and not me have to do changes to it or make changes to it. So yeah, enough about that. Mutalisk, typical Zerg creature. It has spikes and it has armor plates, not unlike any other Zerg creature. And I know a guy asked me to do a Mutalisk in my inbox because he wanted to see how I approach the leather wings. So that's mostly why I did this video, because I wanted to see for myself like how the method is, and well, my method. I don't know if that's a typical method, and how one should approach this. And it turned out pretty well towards the end. Now I'm going through a lot of different pencils here, just because by this point I'm already getting stressed out because the paper is just so weird. Maybe I'm just not used to it. I mean, it says, I've seen a lot of drawing pads that have this texture, but I personally don't like it. But some people probably feel comfortable with it. I don't know. So I'm just switching out different pencils from an HB to a 4B to a mechanical B pencil, just to see like what works best on this particular type of paper. I was thinking to switch to vellum for this drawing, but I already started and I said screw it, I'm not gonna let a piece of paper beat me, so I just kept doing it and just to see like if I get something decent out of it. But as I said, it took much less time than it usually does, and it's not my best work, but I'll definitely not be using this paper again. The thing is, the US Post Office sent my package back just like I expected, because something wasn't right with them in the package, so they considered it a threat for someone to be sending a bunch of pencils, 2 drawing pads, and a pencil sharpener to Romania. So they returned the package to the sender, and it had to be sent again. So that's like another week and a half wasted, just because US Post Office is a bunch of really cool guys. Yeah. So I'm completely out of paper, and I can't find Strathmore Bristol in Romania because we don't really have a lot of anything. I got this one when I was in the US, and I should have gotten more, but I didn't want to fill my bags up with paper. That would not have been a good decision. So yeah, let's hope that this time they don't return it. So I settled on the mechanical pencil because it's just the most convenient thing for me on this particular texture, because it's not as soft as well, I'm switching back there, I don't know why. I'm using it for the details and for the general like shape and stuff, and I'm using the woodless graphite sticks for the really heavy shading, like the coarse shadows on the spikes and the body itself. But yeah, the mechanical pencil worked pretty well on this. Not as good as I wanted it to, but good enough. I mean, after all, I'm all for experimenting and challenges, so this qualified as one. And the result wasn't bad or anything. It's just, you know, it's not as good as it could be. I can live with it. So right now I'm just drawing the spikes and basic Mutalisk anatomy. It's funny that I use that word in this context. It has a head, and the head has a round mouth, like much like the Broodlord, and much like its tail. And the mouth is surrounded by two jaws with 2 spikes each, as you can see there. And it has 6 eyes for some reason. It has more eyes than the Overlord, but I won't question Zerg logic. And it has a plate with 3 spikes on its back, and the rest of the back is covered in plates, and the belly is also covered in plates. The tail is again a mouth from which it spits out the glaives, and the mouth is also surrounded by 4 spikes, and that's about it. It's basically like a tube with wings, so not very difficult. And I'm just detailing out the fingers, I would say, and later on when I do the wings, I'm gonna be erasing over the fingers to I probably shouldn't be calling them fingers. I'm pretty sure some people are gonna flame me and come up with a wiki name for those members, but I really don't care. It's funny how people actually correct me in their comments as if it matters. It's a video game character, doesn't matter at all. So yeah, I'm gonna be erasing where the membrane hits where the membrane meets the fingers, just like I did for the Zerg Queen, to show that it's actually connected to the bone, and not just, you know, sprouting out of there without any sort of logical connection. I'm just doing the front plates now, trying to make sure that the center line is clear for the viewer, so it doesn't look flat. As you can see, like, the plate goes around the body, surrounds half the body, so there will be a center line since the character is in perspective. And now I'm just texturing the body, trying to give it a sort of a bumpy texture, and then going over it with the pencil again to draw the cast shadow from the left arm over the body, because again the light is coming from the top left. And if you've ever wondered why light always comes from the top left, there's a reason for that. It's because for the human eye, it just seems the most natural place for the light to be. It's like all concept artists and drawers and artists use well, not always, you know, sometimes they do frontal lighting or backlighting for special effects, but most of the time the light will come from the top left, just like we read from left to right. It's kind of the same principle. So now I'm done with the body. It took very little time, so now I'm just doing the wings. I shaved off a bit of graphite on sandpaper, so now I'm just dipping the blending stump in there and the graphite powder, and just painting the folds of the leathery wings. So you can do it with a pencil as well. I mean, you don't have to use that, but I like it because it's really quick and it gives a natural look. So then I just darken the wing with the blending stump just to blend everything in, and now I'm erasing the holes and the irregularities in the wings, because, well, I'm not sure if Mutalisks have those, but that's my own improv. I don't like things to be perfect and perfectly smooth with these creatures, because they're, you know, even in the wild, bats are gonna have those, you know, they're gonna have imperfections. And these creatures are based on bats, at least their wings are, largely, so just trying to stick with what I saw on the Discovery Channel. So as you can see there, it's really quick to draw leathery wings. It's really no big deal, and of course, I've mentioned in the previous video, instead of a blending stub, you can use like a Q-tip or a napkin. What's important is when you're doing this, is to always start from the same spot, so it blends the graphite uniformly, so you don't have, like, you know, it has to look natural. So starting from the same spot and just basically smearing everything out and just lifting the blending stem towards the end. It just gives it a really natural look, and it'll turn out really well. So thank you for watching, and hopefully next time, well, I know I won't have my new paper by next time, but I'll use vellum if anything, because it's better than this type of paper in any case.